All right. Hi, everyone. As you may notice, it is just me so far tonight. Let's kind of wait for people to filter in here. Since it's just me running everything, no fancy loading screen and all that. But let's wait for everyone to get here, and I will tweet out the link as well. So bear with me here, and give me a sec. Okay, I see we got some people coming in here. Oof, that was a rough game. Um, yeah, I mean, the Kraken had, another poor start. Went behind early and just couldn't claw their way back. It feels like we've kind of seen that game happen a few times before, and they just seem tired too from the start. Um, Also, for those coming in, Dylan's going to call me when he can. He was at the game, so he'll be able to give some insights from being there in person, and we'll get him on here as soon as we can. So I'm looking forward to hearing kind of what he has to say too, because he always notices these little things in person. Let's see. Turning to the chat, that was rough. Yes, Dylan, it was. Hunter, I hope Grew is okay, but man, he's playing terrible lately. Backup quality goaltending for starter quality money. I think Drieger needs to be the starter from here on out, regardless of Grew's injury today. I mean, yeah, it's a fair assessment, and I hope Grubauer is okay because I mean, that is a big blow to the team, regardless of how he's playing. If Grubauer is going to be out, um, but yeah, I mean, he just didn't play well enough tonight. That second goal was one he absolutely has to stop. That's just a killer there, shorthanded. You talk about saves being made at important moments of the game, and he needed to come up with one there, and it just got out of hand from there on. Um, Dylan again, they didn't look like they wanted to claw. Tired boys. Yeah, I mean, they looked exhausted. The second half of back to backs, they just didn't have that energy going on. Michael there, 3 hours of LA traffic for that. Yes, Michael also going to the game. Yeah, that is rough through the LA traffic. I've done that drive a few times myself. And going to USC for college, spent a lot of time around that LA traffic. It is not fun. Sorry they couldn't reward you with a better game there, but hopefully you still had a good enough time. I always love going to games at Honda Center. I think it's a great arena to watch a game in. So let's see, Sergeant Pickles. I demand a now loading Dylan screen despite the result. So, unfortunately, we do not have a now loading Dylan screen. Sorry about that. Hate to disappoint. We're actually going to go with a super low tech solution. Dylan is just going to call me on the phone, and I'm going to put the phone up next to the microphone. We did test it last night to see if it worked. It worked pretty well, and it's kind of the simplest thing that we can do. So he's just going to call me in a second, and we'll get his audio there because he's still finishing up with the game. I think he's just going to be in the car. Let's see, Alex. Hey everyone, I honestly turned this game off after the shorthanded goal wasn't happening. I mean, it sure has that feel to it, doesn't it? I mean, here we go again type of thing where, the Kraken fall behind early and it's just that second goal that gets them out of it, and a soft one too, where, yeah, it's just like we haven't really seen them, claw back from that very often. They had that Columbus game, recently, but aside from that, we just haven't seen it happen. Um, Let's see. Sergeant Pickles didn't watch 1 second of the game, but always here for a chat with you fine folks. Thank you so much for joining us, Sergeant Pickles. Really appreciate that, especially, after not seeing the game. But yeah, appreciate you. Always love to have you here. Superfly, Grubauer doesn't have it right now, and a stint on IR might be good to work on some stuff, maybe even with the mental coach, because he seems to be playing without any confidence. Yeah, I mean, you always hate to see that, and you'd never, want an injury there. But, as far as timing goes, if he is hurt, if there's ever going to be an injury that's maybe a blessing in disguise, I suppose it's now. I mean, you hate to talk like that, but I mean, I don't know, maybe it will be. Hunter, Kraken are allergic to winning on national TV. Yeah, it does. I don't know. It does seem like we've had an issue with some of these national TV games, the Kraken not being able to win. It's tough. Yeah, the TNT broadcast was interesting, though. Glad I got the chance to watch that. Some of the other national games, the Kraken have been at home. I've been at the game, so it was interesting to get to see the TNT broadcast. Let's see, Cameron. I mean, I still expected a better effort than that. The last power play we had was horrendous to watch. Yeah, I mean, I was wondering what kind of effort we might see in the third, and it just seemed like the Kraken kind of accepted that they were out of it and didn't really, give the kind of effort you'd like to see to try and claw back into the game. They just didn't have it in them tonight, and especially on the power play, they had opportunities, getting these power plays and just couldn't set anything up. So, yeah, I don't know. They just looked out of gas, just completely out of gas. Um, Aaron, hey all, crap game, but glad we're all here. I hope Gruby is okay, but that shorthanded goal cannot go in. An NHL goaltender has to make that save. Agreed completely. I mean, he does. Grubauer's got to make that save. There's just no two ways about it. You can't sugarcoat it. Superfly, that first goal was crap, and I'm not sure how that's a good one. Also, Delorier being allowed to smash our players without any reaction was strange as well. Yeah, toward the end of the game, again, they looked tired in all aspects. I would have liked to see them kind of stand up for guys a little bit more, like on that Appleton hit. I mean, yeah, there was some jawing on the bench with Eberle there, but I don't know. I'd like to see him get a little bit more physical. I mean, Delorier is that kind of player, but you can't be afraid of that. You got to go at him. They've got size; they can do that. The first goal, I mean, it was just McCann taking Grubauer out as an unfortunate play, but I don't think any goalie interference was warranted there. Jagar, Grubauer right now is not the goalie we bought. No, I mean, he's not. But that's the thing with goaltending. It's so random. It's so hard to predict. This is what happens with a lot of high-priced goalies. You'll see where they just have these really bad stretches, and that's one of the reasons I tend to like to go cheap in net, but I won't harp on that too much right now. Let's see, JMG, Gio looking really old tonight. Yeah, he's just looked kind of slow and had some tough moments, especially with the puck decision-making since coming back. I think it's been kind of a rough road back for him after missing so much time, being on COVID protocol. But yeah, he definitely hasn't hit his stride again coming back. Let's see, Sergeant Pickles, is it normal to only have one goalie who is healthy and playing well at a time? No, that is not normal. That is just this unfortunate situation the Kraken find themselves in. No, most teams have two healthy goalies usually. Kraken just running into some bad luck with this. Hopefully Grubauer's not hurt too bad. Jagar, we need to make Drieger our number one. That'll boost his confidence and make Grubauer want to work harder, TBH. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for giving Drieger some more starts now that he's healthy. And I do think the Kraken would have done that earlier had Drieger been healthy. It's just tough when you have a goalie injured. You've got to ride the other one. But hopefully Drieger's feeling good, and hopefully you can work Grubauer in there as well. Let's see. Gio had a tough night. Yeah, he did. It's a tough one. Although I think he had a tough break. He was put in a bad spot on that one where he had to take the penalty there after holding onto the puck because he was looking to move the puck across the ice, and the Kraken were getting this awkward D change. He had nowhere to go with it and just kind of got handcuffed. But he still did have a rough night all around. Superfly. Francis better sell ASAP with Giordano looking worse each game. Yeah, I hate to say it, but he's got to be someone who's in consideration to move at the deadline if you're if you're the Kraken, and certainly if you're not really in playoff position. I think if there's an offer, you've probably got to take it, despite him being the captain, despite what he brings in the locker room. Kraken Hawk, we need in front of the net front presence player. Sorry, too many passes go wayward without any Kraken sticks touching them. It's true, and this is something Dylan and I kind of complained about in the San Jose game, where until the third period they really didn't develop a net front presence. And you look at Ryan Donato is kind of the only guy who's really willing to do that consistently, and he's been rewarded. Look at these last two games; he's gotten a couple goals. So they just need more guys who are willing to do that, and I think they have guys who are maybe willing to do that. I think it's just maybe a coaching thing, a systems thing, where you need to send those guys to the front of net and make it clear that's a priority. Dylan used all that energy last night actually driving the puck into the zone, back to the behind the net pass entry tonight. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Sharks, that Sharks game, it did use up a lot of the Kraken's energy. They were back checking hard. They were forechecking in the zone and cycling it. They looked really good, but I guess that does kind of take a toll on you energy wise. And, maybe we saw that a little bit tonight. Alex, I saw McCann went hard into the boards. Anybody dropped the gloves over that? No one really dropped the gloves or responded after that one. I will say that's kind of unfortunate. There are some dangerous shoves along the boards that happen. That one wasn't one of them. It was a trip kind of in front of the net, but I wouldn't put that in the dangerous category, just because it was just kind of this tough break as McCann didn't really have time to adjust himself. Thankfully, he's okay, but that one I don't think you need someone to go after, especially since Silverberg on the Ducks seemed to look at and be concerned for him right away. I don't think he really meant to do that. There was nothing malicious there. It was just an unfortunately placed trip. Let's see. Hunter, what happened to our net front presence during power plays? It was working so well. It was, and it's kind of dried up. I think, I don't know, maybe the Kraken got a little hesitant after that, on that first power play was the first. Anyway, the shorthanded goal. You had all three of those, the middle line forwards kind of push up into the play there, and they got burned on a 2-on-1 going back the other way. I think maybe they got a little more conservative after that, but at the end of the day, that's not how you want to play it. That 2-on-1 should have been stopped. So yeah, I think the net front presence needs to be there. In the third period, I saw a play where I think it was Schwartz had it right in front of the net, turned around, tried to pass it to the middle, nobody there. So yeah, that's something that they definitely need to make a point of emphasis going forward. Let's see, Kraken Hawks. Seattle is not going to make the playoffs. They're too inconsistent, but I will still support this team and really get excited about how much better this team can be in a couple years. I mean, yeah, playoff odds aren't looking the best, but it's still, there's still time. There's still time left in the season, and also, this can be an exciting team. Certainly, longer term, they've got a ton of cap space. That's something that is going to be very important in future off seasons too. So yeah, I think there's still reasons to be excited for sure. Let's see, Ty. So tonight I googled if ducks eat squid. Turns out only on the ice. Oh boy, yeah, no, it's. I don't know. Ducks aren't too threatening, you'd think, to a Kraken, but I don't know. They did well tonight. Superfly. Also, as much as we complain about Grubauer, Drieger also looked quite slow and stiff on that fourth goal, having to go side to side. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much of a push off there. I guess I would have liked to see a little bit more of that from him. That's a tough one, though, when a puck's thrown at you so quickly. Even if he did push off, that's one that easily could have gone off of him. And then it's also tough just coming in the third period, on a second half back-to-back. So you're not planning on playing the game and having to come in kind of cold. That can be difficult. So, I'll excuse that a little bit. But, yeah, no, that one was a tough one. Sergeant Pickles, I know most teams struggle on road back-to-backs, but did they look below average even then? Yeah, I mean, taking that into consideration, this is one where, if this was kind of an isolated incident, maybe coming out flat, I could excuse it because it's a road back-to-back. It's a tough game. It's against the top team in the division. Really, I guess I have more problem when they start flat, when they're rested and they're at home, because that's been an issue as well. But yeah, it's just, yeah, it wasn't a good effort, even considering the circumstances. I think so. JMG, too many shots from the point with zero chance of success. Exactly. We saw that a lot last game as well. But, they finally got to the net in the third period. Yeah, I mean, if there's no net front presence, the point shots aren't going to do anything for you. So that's just something they need to develop. Let's see, Ty. I did really like the all-out skate of McCann and Donato. Canner is hungry. You can see it each shift. Yeah, absolutely. Great point. I mean, Jared McCann, even after taking that nasty tumble in the boards, was right back at it, hungry for a goal. That one where he brought it from behind the net right in front real quick. He almost had it. Loved the effort from Jared McCann tonight. Yeah, and Donato as well. You see it from him almost every game. Like that's, love seeing that from Donato, and he was rewarded with a goal again tonight. But yeah, no, they had some good effort from some guys, but overall it wasn't where it needed to be. Reading ID, I also used all my energy last night at the Sharks game. Hashtag relatable. At least my job doesn't put me at risk of high-speed collisions, though. Yeah, no, I guess that is one perk. It is a dangerous job playing pro hockey. That can happen to you. But, yeah, it's tough. The Kraken just kind of looked out of gas. Let's see, Michael. Sloppy hockey. Anaheim's were great. Anaheim D were great. Kraken D need to step up more on ozone rushes. Yeah, I mean, good observation there, Michael, because that's one thing I noticed too, where the Kraken gave the Ducks too much time going into the zone. All right, we've got Dylan here on the phone. Let's say hi to Dylan. Hey, Dylan.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Yeah, we got the post game going. A good active chat here. Hopefully they can hear you all right. Let me know in chat if you can hear Dylan okay.
Can you hear me? It's like Turn of the century cell phone commercials all over again.
Yep, I explained to them our low-tech solution for this one tonight. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, we'll see in the chat. Sergeant Pickles now loading Dylan. Yeah, sorry, there's no loading Dylan screen. We'll work on that. Even if it's just a little like piece of paper I can hold in front of the that'd be the ultimate low-tech solution in front of the camera. Just hold up the piece of paper saying now loading Dylan. All right, chat says yes, they can hear him. Thumbs up. All right. Sounds good. So Dylan, I mean, let's just get your impressions of the game here and the Kraken's effort. Like overall impressions, what do you think?
That it looked like the Kraken had played a hockey game late last night. They
Yeah.
came out flat to start the game, which isn't anything totally unusual for them. But it was just I don't know. Like I tweeted a couple times, right? There was just no forecheck at times. Certainly no back check from the forwards at all to help out defense.
Hello?
The passes were arguably the worst we've seen them. It was a rough game, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about already a little bit on the chat them just being tired and looking kind of exhausted after that last game. And as Michael points out right here, sloppy hockey. Yeah, it's just it was not a good effort there. Let's going back to chat here, and also funny, the phone audio quality is better than I expected, Sergeant Pickles. We agree. We tested it last night. We couldn't believe it was actually something that would work. So Alexiak was more at fault for the first goal, if anything. Yeah, that pinch was probably not the best decision there. Leading to that kind of 2-on-1, 2-on-1.5 going back the other way. That's not a pinch you want to make. Certainly at that point in the game. Maybe if you're down 3-0 or whatever, you can afford it, but certainly not in a tie game early.
Yeah, and I don't know when the Kraken are going to kind of stop doing that because we've seen it from several different defensemen at this point, and I mean, have you even seen one pay off for the Kraken this year?
No, it's rare.
Like every single one, it results in something bad going the other way.
Yeah, so I mean, those pinches are definitely something you need to watch out for. Let's see. Medeiros, I'm sad on top of my team plays different in front of Gru and it's annoying hill. Yeah, I mean, do you think they play differently in front of Drieger versus Grubauer? I mean, do you think Drieger gets a little bit more support?
It's hard to say. I mean, there is that kind of, we got the backup goalie in, we got to really be on our game kind of thing. And I could see certainly through earlier parts of the year with Drieger, kind of still being hurt, and I'm sure they all knew that in the room. Maybe that's the case. But, at the same time, you have things like, I think it was the second goal where Grubauer just takes a horrible angle on it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I didn't notice them playing too much different. I mean, like you were talking about with the pinch, we see that when Drieger's in too. Plenty of odd man rushes in both cases.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're still kind of have the same problems no matter who's in net. It just, with Grubauer, some of these soft goals, it looks a little worse. Let's see, Greg, this team needs Yanni back. Yeah, I mean, his absence is certainly hurting them.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the back checking. I mean, there were still issues, don't get me wrong, before that been starting to point out this stuff. But, I mean, he's an excellent two-way player, and not having him around, it certainly leaves a hole.
Yeah, definitely, and they felt it tonight. Sergeant Pickles, injuries aside, are there some line or strategy adjustments they can make going into tough matches coming up, aside from #free Willy Borgen, obviously?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a tough one. I think in some ways, like tonight, a lot of it was just kind of effort-based. It didn't feel like they were, out-coached or anything like that. Like the strategy was that bad. It just felt like they weren't ready for it. They were tired. They were slow. Someone had commented on one of the tweets that it looked like they were skating in pudding. I agree.
Yeah.
I was like, God, did they flood the ice or something? Like, what's going on? So I don't know that there's anything the Kraken absolutely need to do. Obviously, look back at the tape at what worked against Edmonton last time and just try to repeat that. But ultimately, it's just you got to get going.
Yep, absolutely. Just get your own game back in order. Let's see. Superfly. Well, I did like the pass by Eberle on the goal. Now we're playing Edmonton and Toronto back to back. Should be wins given that those are good teams, right?
Yeah.
hopefully that continues. The stretch of playing up to those good teams. Although Ducks top in the division, that's a game you kind of like to get up for. Even though they're a surprise team up there. Um, but yeah, hopefully a couple days of rest helps them out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to see, what they do goaltending wise, how serious Grubauer's injury is.
Yeah, I mean that'll depend for sure. Alex, need to start scoring some goals on the road. Two or fewer ain't gonna cut it. Yeah, I mean goal
Yeah,
scoring has been an issue aside from that third period against Columbus. They've had some real goal scoring issues the last few games.
yeah. I mean, they had that even during some of their winning streak stuff. It's just one of those. It's hard to score in the NHL, and again, even a couple of times where the Kraken did seem on it in the offensive zone tonight, fell victim to kind of what they've been falling victim to. There's been guys in opportunities to shoot the puck and have a nice scoring chance, and instead they'll try to pass it.
Yep.
Like at some point, the team's just kind of got to get behind the idea of shooting to score.
Yeah, agreed completely. Interesting question here from Sergeant Pickles. Was Dylan brave enough to wear Kraken gear to the game and cheer for the one goal?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, there we go.
But I've gone to Ducks games before. I've gone to Ducks games before, rooting for the other team. It's always been the Penguins in the past, but it's a really nice building. If you are an away fan, the Ducks fans are really nice. You never hear anything bad. You never hear like F the other team, anything like that. Everybody's just kind of chill. Everyone's excited just to be at a hockey game, so don't have to worry about it too much. And then tonight, I mean, gosh, half that building might have been Kraken fans. Maybe not quite half, but there was a ton of Kraken fans. Enough that like people were really getting able to do stuff in the concourses, get chants and stuff going. It was fun.
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, Kraken fans showing up, showing out in Anaheim. Yeah, that's great to hear. Let's see. Four Horsemen. I watched the first period and then gave up to buy/play Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. Some days Kraken don't seem to have it.
Yeah, that's true. Love that.
Yep. No, that's good decision there on the game. Roller Coaster Tycoon is fun. Um,
Classic.
yep. Let's see. Grizza Smash. I really thought that they could pull it back in the third. Gru is definitely making me disappointed about his performance. I know he's better, just needs to be consistent. Yeah, I mean, that's the frustrating thing. We know that he's better than this. He's just got to and he's shown flashes of it too. He just needs to put it together on a game by game basis.
Yeah, I really think he needs a rest, just to reset himself after everything. That seems clear. It seems like a lot of this stuff, like tonight, right? Positional issues, right? That's mostly in his head. It's just the schedule between Drieger being hurt for most of the season, and then now the schedule, these back to backs.
Yeah.
It's just not going to come for a little while. But I just got to think if they can set him down for a week or two, let Drieger carry the load a little bit. I think he can get back to playing well.
Yeah, agreed. I think just a break could be good for him. I mean, we even talked earlier about how, as much as you'd hate for him to be, kind of injured here, maybe if there was ever a time for an injury to be a blessing in disguise, it might be now.
Yeah.
All right, reading ID. Birthday boy Yanni Gord. Yeah, it is his birthday. Happy birthday, Yanni. Hopefully he's back soon. Four Horsemen. Is Eberle healthy or still nagging injury? Healthy as far as we know.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing normal minutes, it seems like, and stuff.
Yeah, and he had that great pass on the power play. So
Yep.
there was a flash of good hockey there. Yeah, Hunter saying he's been a ghost. Ty, I feel like Gio was struggling to match the speed of that young Anaheim front. Do you think we may see movement here by the trade deadline? Yeah, we've talked a little bit about Gio, already. Yeah, I mean, what do you think of his game tonight?
It was bad. I mean, I don't really know how to sugarcoat it. He did seem slow. He seemed taken off guard at times by the Ducks. That long windup I got to see in person, and boy, is that, not great. Yeah, he didn't seem ready for this at all, really. And I thought he was the worst, defender out there for the Kraken.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I think he's struggled kind of since coming back from COVID protocol, and certainly tonight it just, was kind of exposed there. Sergeant Pickles, what are the normal strategies to overcome fatigue? Only thing that comes to mind for me is clean passing and keeping long possession.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. Obviously, the Kraken weren't able to do that today.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, we saw it a little bit, right? You see Fleury and Borgen come into the lineup for this one, so that gets two tired bodies out. And Lazon and Susie, you get, I tweeted also, it seemed like they were trying to keep shifts a little shorter
Mm-hmm.
at times. Now that was rough when Anaheim was kind of dominating possession. It meant that the transition game was basically non-existent, certainly through that first period, just because it seemed like they were really, intentionally trying to keep those shifts short.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like they were making an effort there, but that's a double-edged sword. It can come back, and kind of limit your transition game, and certainly did in the first. Yeah, Four Horsemen says more Gatorade. That's another
Yeah.
good strategy. Let's see from Eric. Is it just me, or does Alexiak need a break? Maybe it's just me.
Well, I mean, probably, maybe. It's possible. I will say he hasn't quite looked the same since he's been playing with Giordano.
Yeah, I think the Susi Alexiak pair was doing really well, and Giordano's return kind of complicated things there as far as Alexiak goes and what he's been able to do.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Let's see. Four Horsemen. I think they even took over the morning skate. Took over the morning skate to rest. Didn't seem to help. Yeah, and usually on back to backs they'll have just an optional morning skate. That's kind of standard procedure on back to back games because obviously everyone's tired. But yeah, it's tough coming back to backs when you played the last night. Um,
Especially on the road when there's travel involved. I know it's not excessive travel, but it's still travel. I
you
would
still have to
assume
take a
that
flight. Yeah, it's not nothing.
yeah, I would assume after the game last night, they get through everything, all the media stuff, and then, you're off to the airport, hopping on the plane, flying down here. It's not a long flight, but it's a couple hours, and then you gotta, get off the plane here, get to the hotel room. Probably not going to bed till, somewhere between 3 and 4 in the morning.
Yeah, no, it's pretty rough, and especially on sleep. I don't know how those players do it. Let's see. At what point? I just went down. At what point does they need time to build chemistry get replaced with they just aren't good enough?
I mean, to some extent, we've passed that already. We know kind of the lines that work at this point, and I feel like that certainly kind of that ship sailed once we passed that 20-25 game mark.
Yeah, I've got to
Still trying to
agree.
be
Yeah.
positive, but yeah,
Yeah, I agree, and I think even Dave Haxtell agrees. There was a point after one of the games where he's like, where someone mentioned, yeah, this team obviously still getting to know each other, and he's like, no, we know each other. That's not an excuse anymore. We know each other. As far as taking time to build chemistry, that's out the door, I think, and even Haxtell has admitted that. Um,
yeah.
so let's see, Dylan in chat, sorry, Dylan Cabral in chat. Does Grew always play far outside? I have heard it's a size to angle strategy, but man, does it seem like a mile away. Hate to keep harping on the guy. Prob needs a pat on the back, but geez. So, you look at. I don't think that's really the issue, is him coming out and challenging, because you certainly look at that 2-on-1, shorthanded, and that's not a problem of him being too far out of the net. That's just him being off his angle and letting one in 5-hole. I mean, that's just a mental thing. It's not necessarily being that far out. I think that's kind of standard goalie procedure.
Yeah, I would agree with it. It really means that yes, you got to be on your angle, otherwise it's a problem, and you have to be really good at controlling your rebounds, either swallowing them up or using your pads and knocking them away from anybody on the other team, usually off into the corner or somewhere less dangerous. Which I will say, Grubauer has done a very very good job of doing this season. When he needs to make pad saves that far out of his crease, he has done a really good job of kicking the rebounds into the corner or off to the side and away from the opposing team.
Yeah, that is an element of his game that has been consistently good throughout the season, is his rebound control.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was sad to hear Gio was going to go, but I'm definitely digging the identity of the Kraken with all the misfit toys rising to the occasion. Also, Donnie's handling skills are insane. Yeah, well, I mean, when Gio was out, you really did have a lot of the defensemen stepping up, and it created a good dynamic, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they looked good, and it seemed like everybody was figuring things out with each other. Obviously, it took a game or two, but then it felt like that was the most kind of in sync we had seen the defensive pairs all year long. Really, at this point, the only one you can still say that about to some extent is the Dunn Larson pairing. And
Right.
ideally, you'd want at least two of your three pairings to be that way.
Yeah, agreed. And I'm kind of just trying to see if I can look up the ice time there to see. But and then anyway, next point. JMG, the Donato line outplaying the first line with Eberle and Schwartz, and I think that's 2 games in a row for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at the Donato line basically being the fourth line, and that's why I'm trying to look up the ice time here.
Yeah, no, I'll give you a sec then.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, that line is playing with the energy that you would want from an energy depth line. It's the only line that is, consistently physical. You got Donato trying to be like a power forward, trying to drive to the net a lot. You've got Donskoy kind of doing the same to some extent. He's not necessarily going to power his way to the net, but he's a good enough stick handler that he can get around guys and try to put some prolonged pressure on and really get the defense back on their heels and trying to, react rather than control what the Kraken are doing, right? And certainly the top line with Eberle and Schwartz, that is not happening at all. They are not applying pressure to the other team. They're letting the other team stay in control, and you're never going to have success if that's the case.
Yeah, and I just looked up the ice time, and it was interesting. The Eberle, Schwartz, McCann, they were all around the 16, 17-minute mark, which is kind of low for a first line. I think the fact that game was out of hand kind of toward the end maybe played a role in that. But Donskoy up at around 18 minutes. Donato at 15. So I mean, the lines were definitely kind of more evenly spaced as far as time on ice tonight.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if that's a trend that continues.
Yep.
Like if on Saturday, it's kind of the same story, I could see Hackstall really starting to lean on that line.
Yeah, agreed. And Ty pointing out matchups are quite different between those lines. Yeah, I mean the Schwartz Eberle line is gonna play some better competition for sure. So that that is a factor.
Yeah, on the road for sure.
Yep. Let's see. We got a super chat from Cameron. Thank you so much, Cameron. My Huskies can't beat the Ducks, and neither can the Kraken. Oh no, I guess it's just a Seattle thing to lose to Ducks. Thanks for doing the post game, boys. Always enjoy them. Thank you so much, Cameron. I mean, hopefully the Huskies with DeBoer have some better luck going forward. Cristobal, leaving the Ducks, maybe that helps. But thank you so much, Cameron. Sorry, I'll let Dylan get a word in here.
Yeah, no, thanks so much, Cameron, and yeah, I think that'll help change things around over there. And as the jumbotron was eager to remind everybody today, Ducks do have teeth, and so maybe there's something there.
Huh? Ducks do have teeth. Interesting.
I mean, that's what they were showing anyway.
I mean, did they show the actual teeth? Did they show the teeth? Like, where's the evidence? Did they? Wow. Okay. I mean, how did they look? Are they small? They must be small.
Yeah, they're small, but they're pretty sharp. Like I said, they got to be able to tear into fish and stuff. So.
Okay, fair enough.
Ducks a little more vicious than people think. Also,
all right.
The only and this is way crazy, and I won't totally get into it. But ducks are the animal people point to as an example of why dragons could have existed, because ducks actually do have 2 back little feet, prehensile feet or whatever it's called, when they're in the embryonic stage, which would be and sometimes they're born with them. So it's like a 4-legged flying thing. They're like the example of that.
Wow. Okay, that is interesting. So, double thank you, Cameron. Super chat, and also for me learning about all this stuff, about ducks and potential dragons. Wow. Okay. No, I am so glad that the stream went in that direction. Thank you so much, Cameron.
Got your money's worth there.
Yep. Dylan pointing out it's not the size of the teeth, RJ. Yeah. Good point. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Costanza here. Is it just me, or has Gio's shot gotten increasingly sloppy as the season has progressed? I'd say yes, as well as some other parts of his game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Sergeant Pickles would be curious to see the team record with and without Geo. He isn't bad, but maybe not fitting what they need as well as others. Yeah, I mean, that'd be an easy one to figure out. I'm going to do that after the game and kind of see what the records are.
Yeah, I got to think it's pretty positive given some of those games that he was at we know were wins, or certainly they're at least picking up points. I will say, like, the one thing I really just want to see from it, because they haven't been, like, relying on him too much defensively.
Right.
I'm just kind of tired of seeing him be the guy on the power play.
Yeah, I'd love to see Dunn move into that spot.
Yeah, we've seen other guys step up. Oh, give Alexiak a shot. Why not, right?
Yeah, I think they've got a few guys who are capable of playing that quarterback position, and I just kind of want to see what they bring.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see, Alex. The expansion draft and free agent signings seem like trying to assemble two different teams. Just absolutely no consistent identity or play style. I will agree with that. I was kind of confused by some of the free agent signings given the expansion draft strategy, and it does seem a little disjointed now. What do you think?
I would agree with that. Obviously, the strategy seemed like at the expansion draft they were going for size, going for defense. Free agency was a little bit more about like finding two-way players that can be kind of consistently good in all areas, but maybe not great anywhere. And you weren't going to find that in the expansion draft. But overall, it just seems like it was just grab the best player available, whether it's free agency or the expansion draft. Whether it's analytics or even the eye test on some guys. Just let's take the best players and we'll see. We'll try to make it work later then.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's kind of how the strategy went. Striatic didn't watch the game as it was on TNT, and I don't get that channel, but maybe this one wasn't the worst to miss. Yeah, certainly wasn't the worst game to miss. Yeah, you can just look at the final, see the highlights.
Exactly.
Yep. From Dylan, you guys have made the transition from complete noob to a quality, semi-knowledgeable fan super smooth. This channel has turned into an everyday search. Thank you so much, Dylan. Really appreciate the kind words. That means a lot to us hearing that.
Yeah, for sure. That does mean a lot.
And always like to have more Dylans in the chat too. So you're adding to that as well. Let's see, Superfly. Yeah, it was quite strange, especially with Francis talking about this being a 3 to 5 year build and then going out to sign a couple guys in their late 20s to long-term deals. Yeah, agree completely. Aaron, please tell me someone screenshot RJ looking utterly confused at his phone. Oh man, yeah. When I was looking up the ice time, I did look pretty ridiculous there. So if someone got a screenshot, it'll be on the VOD, so people can grab that as they wish and tweet it at us. I'm sure we will see that. Oh boy. Jim Benning at the draft, same energy. Not quite that bad. Jim Benning's his own level.
No, he wouldn't have taken the best players available.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he doesn't take the best players available. Let's see. Kraken need goalies. Yeah, they just need the goalies they have to play up to their potential.
Yeah, they need saves.
Yep. Yeah, they need saves. That's what they need. Yeah, Rocky's my dog. As your assistant, RJ, I recommend asking Dill about the chicken chant. Also, sorry I still haven't gotten to your coffee yet. Yes, that is my trusty assistant there. Okay, Dylan, the chicken chant. What's going on?
All right, so if the Ducks score 5 goals in a game, everybody gets free Chick-fil-A.
What?
Yeah, so once the 4th goal was scored, people were getting excited about that, and that was definitely, I think, the only thing anybody cared about in the arena towards the end there, and then certainly within the last 30 seconds, I mean, people were going crazy for it. Every time the Ducks got any sort of opportunity, towards the end there, like 15 or 10 seconds left, the Ducks entered and they were kind of passing around, but they weren't really being aggressive, and people were really getting mad at them.
Wow.
They wanted that chicken, but lots of let us score chants and we want chicken chants through much of the second of that third period.
Okay, that is great. Yeah, no, I love that. Way to keep the fans in, just going for that 5th goal. That is awesome. Sorry you didn't get your chicken, Dylan. Kraken need to do something like that. Get some free Shaq's Big Chicken or something for 5 goals. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, with this Kraken team, that wouldn't happen very often.
Yeah, no, it'd probably be fine. They wouldn't have to pay out on that too much yet. Let's see. Sergeant Pickles, we need you guys to go to a hypothetical mascot battle royale.
Oh my gosh. That would be wild.
It would. It would. That would be very interesting.
I mean, we could see if we've got time on one of the podcasts coming up.
Yes, I like that idea. Uh, Ty, just 10 seconds to appreciate Drieger's gear. Probably one of the best kits I've ever seen. Oh, for sure. Those pads are amazing. We were talking about it even last night at the other game. Those pads are great. The mask is good. Like having hat poems on the side. Just yeah, what a setup.
Yeah, and I was disappointed at the beginning of the year. Like we saw Grubauer set up first, and it was like, oh, okay, it's pretty simple and solid, and maybe they just didn't have a ton of time, before the season started.
Yeah.
And then I remember when we saw Driegers, it was like, oh no, they barely had time to really come up with something good.
Yep. No, he did it just right. A little bit more on Drieger here lower in the chat. Striatic, Drieger leads the team in the important analytical category, Pirate Hats per games played. I think he's turning a corner. Yeah, he did get the pirate hat after the last game, and I love like one of the guys in the back chirping him. He's like, "You didn't even score a goal in the game."
Yeah, I know.
That was awesome.
Funny.
Yep, and Striatic. Wait, Drieger denied the Ducks fans chicken. That's a victory. So Drieger getting the wins.
But also denied me chicken.
That's true.
Kraken fans.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Plenty of Kraken fans as well. So I guess yeah, double-edged sword there. Let's see, Four Horsemen. I owe my knowledge of Kraken fully to ECH as well. Thank you, Four Horsemen. We're glad we're kind of able to help grow knowledge of the game in this awesome community.
Yeah, it means so much when you guys say stuff like that. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Dylan, of the players on ice now, who do you really want to see this team's pillars as in those playoff push years? That's interesting. I mean, kind of going forward, guys that are long term. I think we'll still see, kind of Yanni Gord for the remainder of this contract. I think, Tanev even, toward the end of his, if he can just keep this up, I think he'll be valuable. Some of the younger defensemen, I think, Fleury and Borgen and hopefully Lausanne, if he can turn things around, could be kind of the centerpiece of a blue line going forward. What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, Larson, I could see kind of becoming that elder statesman kind of character. Interesting, no Eberle or Schwartz in there, right? Like, it's one of those. Ideally, you'd like that. But
I mean, those are guys you sign if your window is now, which again, it kind of speaks to the odd part of the team structure.
Yeah. Then otherwise, I mean, the main thing, and we're gonna see how this plays out, is Jared McCann.
Yeah.
Because I think he's got the potential to be their kind of, top six forward that really creates a lot of consistent offense that they can rely on at key moments like playoff push time and stuff. And, I just want him to stay around and figure things out a little bit as far as line mates and what they're going to do with them. Yeah,
for sure. And Alex, even in the chat, McCann needs to stay for sure, agreeing there. Let's see. Kitty B. Kraken, as long as Drieger doesn't make another shot on goal, TNT showed it tonight. Yeah, I mean, that's on the highlight reel for the wrong reasons. I think he'll be a little bit more careful with it going forward.
Yep, could have been a lot worse.
Yep. Ty's admitting he's been guilty of cheering for food. Pretty common thing in the WHL. Oh yeah, for sure. No, you've always got to cheer for the food, even as a road fan. If you get the free food, it makes it better. Didn't we miss out? We forgot to get our what was it? Tacos? What was it in Vegas when we were at the Vegas game?
Yeah, it was free tacos from Taco Bell. Missed that, and I will say the Ducks did have during one of the intermissions a text pizza to this number, and everybody gets, if 1,000 people do it within a minute, everybody gets a free, individual pizza at California Pizza Kitchen.
What?
And that was able to happen. Unfortunately, only honored in Orange County, so probably not going to make the 3.5-hour drive tomorrow to get that. But, there was free food for sub in attendance.
Wow, that is great. Okay, like Kraken in Arena people, take notes here. Get us some free food here. That's awesome. Let's see. JMG, anything upcoming on Patreon? Yes, we've got the podcast, like the NHL, the bonus podcast. That'll be a little bit later this week. And then on the 27th, also, we've got, our next ECH live commentary.
Yeah, and because I don't remember if we only said it to the people there for the commentary yesterday, but the Patreon exclusive like NHL wide podcast, we're gonna move that to every week.
Yes.
Moving forward instead of twice a month.
Yeah, so that's right. I think we just mentioned it on the Patreon exclusive stream. We did not mention it on Postgame. So for all of you, yes, for Patreon, that bonus podcast, right now it's kind of twice a month, but we are going to move it to every week because there's just so much to talk about. I mean, Dylan and I just kind of waiting that extra week. We've kind of been, chopping at the bit there, trying to, talk about some of this cool stuff going on around the league. So that's going to become a weekly thing, and we're looking forward to that. All right, back to chat. So if Gio goes, who is next man up for the C? Larson, Ebbs? That's a good question.
It is. I don't know, to be honest. We've seen the A's kind of bounce around a couple different guys. I don't know. It's hard to know without being in the room, really.
Exactly. You kind of just got to get that dynamic within the room, and I think just like the first decision, it's going to be kind of the players coming together and deciding, who they kind of really want to lead. And yeah, I could see it being any number of guys. Look for any of the guys with the A's as potential captains.
Yeah, I could see it being Schwartz. I find I often see him interacting with the refs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly guys like Eberle and Larson, they're leaders and they help out guys a lot, but I don't really see them as the head. You know what I mean? I don't know that that's the role that they want either entirely.
Right.
But I'd love to see Alexiak maybe.
Yeah, no, that'd be a good one. Four Horsemen excited about the every week podcast. Every week, my $5 value just doubled. Patreon is like Bitcoin now. Love that from Four Horsemen. Yep, just to the moon. Let's see. Yeah, Dylan saying Larson with the C would be sick. Stratic, is Gio getting traded or something? Geez, I missed one game and totally out of the loop. It's just talk from people, from kind of in chat and us, because again, his contract's up at the end of the season, and as we kind of mentioned earlier, he's not looking maybe like the best fit right now, just kind of for what they're doing on the blue line. So it's something that's certainly going to be talked about, as we approach the trade deadline, and definitely if the Kraken, are not really in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we had already heard kind of league-wide rumors only 2 or 3 weeks into the season about, him potentially moving, that, generally I wouldn't think that would happen with a team's captain, especially an expansion team's captain, unless there was really interest there.
Yeah, agreed.
So, yeah, I agree. If the Kraken are in a rough spot come trade deadline, which is still a ways away, I think something will happen. Yeah,
agreed. Reading ID, I got to dig up my Patreon password and get those sweet, sweet podcasts. Yes, those will be good. And we got to talk about, and here in the chat, one of the things we're going to talk about on the next one, anyone feeling like Bruce Boudreau would have made an awesome first Kraken coach? It would have been entertaining, that's for sure. Again, he's not going to win every game going forward. I assure you of that. I think it'll kind of cool off soon. What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to win every game, but he's probably going to win 75% of them. But again, then they're going to get either swept or lose in 5 in the first round of the playoffs. So that's just kind of the way it goes. But yes, I mean, RJ, aren't you just so bummed you don't get to ask him questions every day in the press meetings?
Oh man, I mean that would be pretty fun. I will say Hackstall is kind of sneaky funny when they're winning and things are going well. He's pretty funny too. But Boudreau is just another level. That would be something else to cover. Yeah, so
really have to censor some stuff though.
That is true. Yeah, there might be a certain word starting with the letter F that we might have to bleep out a lot. Yeah. So let's see. Larson always has this okay to the next one facial expression. Respect that stoicism. Yeah, okay, on to the next one facial expression. Respect that stoicism. Give him the C. Dylan would be in support of that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's I find a lot of the Swedish players have that They've got a good mentality when it comes to that kind of thing.
For sure. And Ty Larson is poised, which I think is important also for a team after a defensive identity. I do love Yanni though too. That's the one player jersey I have. I would love to see Yanni too. I mean, he might be my pick if it was my choice. But that's the two guys that Dylan and I like. Dylan's a big Larson guy. I love Yanni Gord. So
it's so funny too because like our personalities are probably the opposite too, right?
yeah, seriously. Yeah, I'm
it's an
kind of,
opposites attracts kind of situation.
I guess so. Yeah, no, that's true. I guess I'm more the stay-at-home defenseman type of like personality, but yeah, we like a different kind of game. Alex asking, does the new pod have a special name? We've just been calling it the bonus podcast, I think. Yeah. So
we'll get on that.
We will get on that. We need to be better at naming things. I don't know. You guys in chat are so much better at that than we are. Yeah. Let's see. Dylan, that Nux push last night was nutty. Alex said, I would love to sign up for a first round appearance that doesn't go well as of now. Yeah, I'm sure that sounds good, right now. But it can be frustrating once you get there.
I was going to say, I mean, it's always one of those things, like when the team's doing bad, you're like, yeah, I'd take a first round exit or whatever. And then by the time you're there, you're just like, come on.
Yep, agreed. Hunter has got to go. Good night, y'all. Hashtag go Kraken. Good night, Hunter. Thanks for joining us again, and good questions as always.
See ya.
Yeah. So losing Game 7 in the playoffs is sounding pretty good right now. Oh man, we're getting some of those. Just wait till we get there. It's not gonna sound good once you get there. Let me tell you, as a former Sharks fan, playoff disappointments, while they might sound better than just being out of it, they're no fun. I can tell you, they are no fun.
Yeah, when your off season starts the next day, and then you look and you're like, oh, we picked 23rd in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah, there's no plus side to it. Let's see, Dylan here. I'm for the Yanni C2. We love the chirps. Either one. Yeah, either one. You can't go wrong. All right, so we are kind of winding down here. We've reached the end of chat. Last call for anything in chat before we head out. I mean, Dylan's got to head back home. So yeah, we're at the 52-minute mark. So I think last call here. Dylan, anything to add from the experience? You've thrown a lot of interesting things at me here. With dragons and ducks and free food. I mean, anything else from the game there?
I will say it is interesting. Anytime play was happening and I wasn't directly in my seat because I was on my way to or from something, right? You hear the radio broadcast or the TV broadcast going, and there is something interesting about hearing Getzlaf to Terry now.
Yep.
It hit me at first it was nostalgic, and then it was I was recognizing, well, something's wrong. And then it took me a moment to realize, but it was just I was having flashbacks to going to Ducks games when I was a teenager, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I'm sure, the nostalgia factor there, and good to see Getzlaf while he's still playing. Let's see. So people, I'm pointing out. Let's see, Cochon KG. I don't know how to say that, but I'm also a Caps fan, so I know all about losing Game 7s in the playoffs. Okay, so you understand. Sergeant Pickles, I love dance parties more than therapy, but both are great when I can share them with all of you. Good night, everyone, and thanks, gents. Good night, Sergeant Pickles. So great to have you as always. So grateful you join us here. Dance parties are better than therapy, but it's great to spend this time with all of you. Alex, hoping this team doesn't crush my soul like the Bolts did in 2019. We got a lot of people familiar with these first round exits.
Yeah.
Four Horsemen suggesting call it the Red Glare podcast. Let's see.
Yeah, no one's got that already.
Yeah, we got to look and see if someone else has that. Ty, still loving the journey. I'm crazy hooked on the Kraken and will continue to show up. I've watched or been to every game so far. Here's to many more. Love it, Ty. It's going to be a fun journey and for years long, and so glad to have you on board. And I mean we're all hooked on the Kraken at this point, and it's going to be fun going forward.
Yeah.
Yep. Dylan says, "Go home, Dylan. Good night, boys. Appreciate the content massively. Winter is warmer with the Kraken. Win or lose." Um, and on that note, we will let you head home. Thank you so much for joining us, talking to us in the car. Love the dedication. And we will see you on here for next one, and we will see you all next time.
See ya, everybody.